All right, let's get this show on the road. All right, so just want to introduce everyone here to many of our graduate programs that we have here at Elmhurst. We have quite a bit, and just a few years ago, we celebrated our 25th anniversary of graduate programs here at Elmhurst. But if you have any interest or know of anyone else who has interest in any of these other programs, do know that each one of your programs that we offer here at Elmhurst does have a dedicated program director. And as you can see, we have a wide variety of programs here at Elmhurst University. All right. Carrie, I'm going to kick it over to you to talk a little bit about the application process here at Elmhurst University for our graduate programs.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to think of our application admission process as sort of three parts. First part is going to be submitting our free application for admission. You can find it online at elmhurst.edu/apply, or if you are on our homepage, there is an apply button link in the upper right-hand corner. The second part is you gathering your materials. There are a few different things that we require of all graduate applicants. First and foremost, official transcripts. We do ask for all official transcripts from all previously attended colleges and universities, 4 universities and colleges, 2-year colleges, community colleges, just to get the full run through of all of your college credit. And these documents do have to be official, meaning they have to come directly from institution to our institution. We have a specific email address for this, that is transcripts for EU at elmhurst.edu. Note the S on the transcripts and also make sure that you are including the for EU at elmhurst.edu. There is a transcripts at elmhurst.edu, but that is a different department. So just make sure you're sending those transcripts straight over to us over here in admissions. Another thing that we require, which goes hand in hand, when we are looking at your transcripts, of course, we are looking at academic performance, but we also like to get a feel for who you are as an applicant. So all programs we look for a around 1,000-word statement of purpose, which essentially aims to answer the questions, what are your career goals and how will a graduate degree from Elmhurst help you achieve them? Um, One caveat to that, though, is that some programs do have specific prompts that we ask you to respond to. Uh, Probably the first coming to mind being the MBA. There are a few MBA specific prompts that you could choose to respond to, one of the three. So that's definitely something worth noting as you are navigating that application. We also do ask for 3 professional recommendations. Now, you could have your recommenders email their recommendations or letters directly to us, but our preferred way of getting these recommendations is going to be straight through what we call the Graduate Application Center. Once you submit your application, you are able to log into this application center to not only upload your documents, but view different admission details, view your checklists, see your progress, but there's also a designated section for you to add recommenders. It's kind of at the middle of the screen, below the checklist. You can click on add recommenders and then put in your recommender's name, email address, company, phone number. You can request whether or not you'd like to be able to see their recommendation or not, but you can add 3 recommenders to that section of the graduate application portal there. And then our system emails them, contacts them, asking for the recommendation, and they can go ahead and shoot that back on over our way. And only for it to get checked off the admissions materials checklist. If we don't receive a recommendation within 7 to 10 days, we do typically send out reminders to your recommenders, but it is always best practice to sort of keep in touch with them if they haven't submitted their recommendation as well, just so you can make sure that those are going to be heading our way. And then the last sort of material that we require that you need to gather and then submit to us is a professional up-to-date resume. And then if your program requires any other supplemental materials, we will communicate that to you as well. So that's sort of the second part of the admission process. And then the third part, once you have submitted your application, once you have submitted all of your materials, we have them all checked off, you'll be invited to interview with the program director of your program of interest. Depending on the director, that interview may be online, that interview might be in person. It usually is up to their schedule. You can go ahead and schedule that with the program director. But long story short, you will get an email communication asking you to schedule that interview, which ultimately is what allows us to make that final admission decision and communicate that decision to you. So from point A to point B, once you start your application and submit your materials and interview, we try to get decisions out to students as soon as possible. Typically, I mean, depending on the time of year, depending on the program, we might get decisions out as soon as like within 2 weeks. Sometimes it's within 4 weeks, but definitely as soon as possible. There are a couple of additional international application requirements. You can review those on the international admission page if you happen to have credit from an institution outside of the United States, or if you are applying as an international student for an F1 visa. So I won't go into too much detail on those, but you can find all of that information. Or if there are any questions, you can put them in the chat and you can find information on the website. But that's about all I have for the admission requirements. I would
Thank you,
say
Carrie.
I know it's a lot of info, but that's why you have people like myself and then the rest of the graduate admission team here to help you navigate that process. So do not hesitate to reach out when you have questions.
Excellent. Thanks, Carrie. I also want to point out that you can apply for both the spring and fall term for some of our programs that do have a spring start. So even though it's December, you still got time for the spring if you're thinking of doing that. That term actually starts in February because here at Elmhurst University, we have what's called a J term. So we start a little bit later than many other schools out there. Okay, so let's say that you are admitted to the program. What are the next steps? Well, the first step that you want to do is you want to secure your place in the program. So we asked for you to submit a $200 tuition deposit that will get you ready to go in the program. And that's not something that we just pocket and then put it somewhere else. That actually goes toward your tuition when it is billed for that upcoming semester. So keep that in mind. It does actually go toward your tuition there. Once we receive that deposit, I will go ahead and clear you for registration once registration opens up for that given term. So if you're interested in starting in the spring, registration is already open for the spring. So once we have that deposit in, I would go ahead and clear you right away to get you registered for spring. Basically, what happens is you get an email that directs you back to your graduate application portal that Carrie had mentioned with the courses that you'll be registering for. And then there's instructions on how to do that in the system. It's fairly straightforward. It almost uses like an Amazon shopping cart type thing there to get you set up. Now, if you're looking to get started in the fall, obviously we don't have registration open for the fall yet. So you would place your deposit and there would be a time frame in between by the time you could get your deposit and then registration instructions. You'll see that probably around April, so when registration opens up for the fall, so April of next year. Once you are registered for your classes, you can review your financial aid and payment options. And actually, you can probably actually review that earlier than prior to registering for your classes. As long as you had filed your FAFSA there, you will receive a financial aid award letter with that there. But if you're registered, then you can see, the charges for it and all that good stuff. And if you have any questions regarding that, I can help you out with that. But I can answer questions just in a few moments here, if you don't mind. If you want to put it in chat, that would be fine too. And then after you are registered for your classes, all that goodness going on there, some of our programs do have an orientation. And that typically, trying to remember, Carrie, for MBA, is LB having any orientation for the spring, or we typically reserve that for the fall for all students who start in the spring and fall?
I think we may have a mid-year
Uh,
orientation. It's still in discussion, planning stages, but we definitely always plan on having a fall orientation for
yeah,
every program.
yeah. So we'll be in touch with everyone here who's admitted regarding orientation for your programs. And then obviously number 5, start classes. Get ready to go. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the types of aid available at Elmhurst University for your graduate program. We have a couple different internal benefits. We have an Elmhurst alumni benefit that if you are um, completing your undergrad now, or if you completed in the past and going toward your graduate program, we can help you out with an alumni benefit. We also have a legacy benefit as well too. So if you had your mom, father, sister, aunt, whatnot, and they went to Elmhurst University, we can assist you with a legacy benefit, and we can talk more about that with you on an individual basis. Many of our programs also have departmental scholarships as well too. So typically what happens in our part-time graduate programs is there's nothing separate that you need to do to apply for those scholarships. The program directors will make that determination, sometimes at the time of admission, sometimes a little bit after that. But there's nothing extra that you need to do to apply for that scholarship. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Elmhurst Graduate Grant and loans in a different screen, but I do want to mention that we also run a graduate scholarship competition. That typically launches a little bit later in the spring there um, for our incoming fall students there. So usually we have just a if you have, it's a video that we ask students to do regarding leadership. And typically it's a 2 to 3 minute video that we ask students submit there. And if you submit that video, I know in years past, we offered students a $500 scholarship for that. All right, so how do you go about obtaining financial aid outside of what is offered from Elmhurst University? Well, what you need to do is you need to go ahead and apply for the FAFSA. You'll go to studentaid.gov and you're going to complete the FAFSA for the incoming year that you're looking to start at Elmhurst University. So if you're looking to start in the spring, you complete the FAFSA for this year, the 2024-2025 FAFSA. If you're looking to start in the fall, then you would do the 2025-2026 FAFSA. Both are open right now, so you want to be conscious of which one you're applying for. Now, if you're looking to start in the spring, you actually would do both because you're going to kind of overlap in the years there. So make sure you do both for that. Takes about 30 minutes or so to apply for the FAFSA, and they're going to ask you a few questions there. Just make sure you have your financial information with you. And actually, as far as your taxes go, it will pull in automatically from the IRS website. So it's a fairly simple process there. One thing to note too, and I have this question asked often, is why do I need to apply for the FAFSA? I never got anything as an undergrad. Well, the thing is, as a graduate student, you're considered what's called a professional student or independent student. So you may have not received any funds for your undergrad because maybe you had to put your parents' information in there. As a graduate student, you are going to just be putting your information there. You don't have to put your parents' information in there. And we'll talk a little bit more about this too, but there's loans that all students can get regardless of their income that you have to put on your FAFSA there. You want to make sure that you complete the FAFSA once a year. As I did mention, it is open for the next upcoming fall 25 term, and that open up on December 1st there. So kind of keep that in mind as you go throughout your program here at Elmhurst University, that around December, remember to file that FAFSA for that second year of your graduate program. Tuition rates will vary by program. And you can find more information on that at elmhurst.edu/grad tuition. Okay. So grants. There is no direct grants available from the federal government or from the state for students looking to go into graduate school. So what we do is we offer what is called a graduate grant here at Elmhurst to students who demonstrate need based on their financial aid results on the FAFSA. So just so you guys know, there's a number called SAI, which is the Student Aid Index, and we use that to determine if you're going to be eligible for a graduate grant. So not all students can get this, but I would say a large majority of our students do. And that's because many of those students are filing as an independent student there. And they receive either $1,000 per year or $2,000 per year, depending on the need. So it's a nice benefit that we offer our students here at Elmhurst going into the graduate program.
And Bill, even if the student lives with their parents, they're still going to be considered as a
Correct.
professional student and
Yes.
independent from their
Yep.
income, right?
That's correct. Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah.
All right. So the next form of financial aid that you may be offered here at Elmhurst is our direct unsubsidized loan. So this does come directly from the federal government there. As I mentioned before, all students, regardless of income, are able to receive this as long as they are in good standing with their loans they may have taken out in the undergrad. And I should also mention too that this is for domestic students or students on a green card there. International students, if you have any questions regarding financial aid, it's a little bit different on that side there. These particular graduate loans are unsubsidized. So that means that while you're in school here at Elmhurst, your interest does accrue while you're enrolled, but you don't have to make any payments on those particular loans. But just know that just like if you're buying a car or house and whatnot, interest is accruing while you're enrolled here at Elmhurst. There is no credit check required for this particular loan, but you do have to complete the FAFSA as you would. And then additional steps are there's a master promissory note that you'll complete at studentaid.gov. And then also you'll complete entrance counseling for the loans as well. And then in addition to that, it's not listed on the slide, but once you're offered these loans here at Elmhurst, you will have to go into your student portal at my.elmhurst.edu and then accept the loans in the system there too. So a couple of steps on that. And if you have any questions on that as you are going through those things, you can feel free to reach out to me or Student Financial Services. They can assist as well too. The current interest rate for students who started this year or will be starting this spring is at 8.08% for this particular loan. Do know that it does change every July. So if you do start in the spring, you would have an 8.08% for this spring term, and then next fall it's going to be a different interest rate for that loan for the next year there. I don't know if it's going to go up or down. It's kind of gone either way as I've been working with students over the years, so I can never really tell. I also want to let you know too regarding the 20,500. How we award that is we award it on a semester basis. So you would receive 10,250 in the spring or fall, or 10,250 in your second semester there. So that's how we award it out there for you. In addition to loans and grants, we also offer payment plans as well too. Sometimes I speak with students who say, you know what, I'll take the free money. Like, who wouldn't take the free money, right? But I don't want to take out loans, which is fine. What you could do then is you could do a payment plan. So we bill on a semester basis here at Elmhurst. So you can break up your fall or spring semester balance into 5 monthly installments there, which is nice to do. Allows you so you don't have to pay one lump sum up front. And then I also advise students, if you can, set yourself up for an automatic payment plan. That way, you know on the 15th of each month, your payment is being taken out. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about any late fees or any of that stuff there too. One other thing to note too is I recommend students pay via ACH, which means if you take a look at the bottom of your checking account, you'll have the routing number and your checking account number. You can actually put that into the system and set that up for an auto pay. That's going to avoid you having to pay any type of processing fee. If you pay with a credit card, there is a small processing fee on that. So I always like to advise students any ways to avoid fees for that there. I sometimes have students, especially in our part-time graduate programs, that work for an employer that offers tuition reimbursement. We most definitely do work with those students there, and actually we offer them a special type of payment plan. That payment plan allows you to defer your tuition cost until 6 weeks after the end of the semester. So that allows you to show your grades to your employer, because many times your employer will want to know, hey, did you pass that class? And what did you get? So you could show your employer that you passed that course there, and then you can get reimbursed back from that there, which is a nice feature. One thing to know, actually a couple things to know. You do have to have a letter of eligibility from your employer for each and every term that you're planning to use tuition reimbursement. So keep that in mind. Some of our programs do have a January term or summer term, and those get billed separately outside of fall and spring. So if you're planning on using it for the J term or the summer term, you will need to submit a new letter for each and every semester there. And there also is a small fee of $25 per term that you are utilizing tuition reimbursement there. And that's just because we are deferring it until 6 weeks into the next at the end of the semester there. All right, I wanted to give you guys a little example of how financial aid works along with tuition. So Victor E. Blue Jay is looking to go to the next step and get his MBA. So he's looking at his first cost for the fall semester because he's looking to start in the fall. And his price without financial aid is $5,750. So he's taking 2 courses, each at 3 semester hours, and each semester hour has a cost of 920. And then he has a technology fee of $230. So that's his direct cost for the first semester's $5,750. All right, so what happens? He actually doesn't have to pay anything out of his pocket because he is utilizing financial aid. So how does this break down? Well, Victor received a graduate grant of $1,000 because it was determined on his FAFSA that he qualifies for that. And then he also is going to take out the full amount of his loan of $10,250. So his total aid that he's receiving is $11,250. So when we do the math, he actually has a credit of $5,550 that he's going to have left over after the fall semester. But one important thing that I would tell Victor is he is enrolled in our MBA program. So our MBA program has a course that he's taken in the J term. Now, financial aid only posts in the fall and spring. So he's going to want to hold on to about $2,700 of his $5,550 to help him pay for that J term course. And he'll want to do the same thing when he receives the same amount in the spring as well, too, because he's going to be taking a summer course, and summer does not have additional financial aid. So he's going to utilize what he received in the spring to help him pay for the summer course there. All right. Well, that brings us to the end here. But we are definitely going to stick around for any questions that you may have as we'd be happy to help with that.
Yeah, and then if you want to get out your phones, your notepads, all the things, you can write down our email addresses. There are 4 of us sort of here on the central graduate admission team. Of course, Bill is Director of Enrollment Operations and Graduate Admission. He is very handy when it comes to the registration and the financial aid stuff. So it would be fantastic to have him in your contacts. Otherwise, myself, Carrie Bohan, and Jim Faring all serve as counselors for different programs. And you can see each of those programs listed underneath our names. So for myself, I assist with the education programs and endorsements, our full-time, part-time, and MBA option, and then our Masters of Arts in Industrial Organizational Psychology. Carrie is going to be all of our healthcare full-time and part-time programs, CSD, MOT, MENP, DNP, MSN, and then our Master of Public Health. And then Jim pretty much covers the other half of our School of Businesses, graduate programs, plus all of our um, technology programs. So CIT, project management, supply chain, and data science and analytics. We're always here for you if you have questions. You can email us, you can call us. If you ever want to stop by on campus, you can generally find us in Daniels Hall, or we have our main office of admission reception in Copeland Memorial Hall. We're right, the two buildings are right by each other at the front of campus. But if anyone has any questions at this time, feel free to drop them in the chat or email your counselor, or you can unmute, ask all of the things. We're happy to chat more.
Wait, are we allowed to just talk?
Yeah,
Asking
go
that
ahead.
question?
Hey, Jake, how you
Oh,
doing?
I'm doing good. Good. I'm the one who asked earlier about the putting my parents down in FAFSA,
Yeah.
and so I still live with them.
Mm-hmm.
But since I now have the bachelor's degree, um, and now I'm going to get my master's, I'm now like a professional worker, and even though I still
Correct.
live with them, I don't need to put them on my FAFSA anymore.
That's correct. Yeah. So when you're filling out the FAFSA, there's going to be a question of asking you if you're a professional or graduate student there. And you select that, and then it will omit so you don't have to put in your parents' information there. Even though you are living with them, that's fine.
Oh, that's interesting. And
Mhm.
you also went into applying for that, applying for the graduate program,
Mhm.
and I got um I did the fee part, which
Yeah.
was apparently paid for because I graduated from Elmhurst.
Yeah. We waive
Uh,
it for, yep. Mhm.
and I got the two letters of recommendation from the people who worked at Elmhurst,
Mhm.
and I'm also signed up for the classes.
Yep.
So is that like everything I need to do before the semester begins, or like?
No, you're good. You're ready to go. And I think you had asked regarding tuition and when that gets billed. That will be billed shortly. So you're good to go right now.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry I'm taking up the question time, but I have
No, it's
one more
good. No
question.
problem. That's what we're here for.
So regarding the loan,
Mhm.
I have a part-time job, and which is giving me enough money to automatically pay my loan tuition that I already built up from my bachelor's degree.
Mhm.
So it should I like keep not pause it so that I can pay it off while I'm going to get my master's?
That's a good question. So it should automatically go into deferral status when you start back into a graduate program, and you should receive a letter on that. When you receive that letter, there should be a phone number that you can call, and you can let them know, hey, actually, I want to keep making payments at that point in time, and you could set that
Yeah.
up under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind like I figured I could just separate the loan, let the master's program build up, and but I just want to keep paying the loan I already have so it doesn't
Mhm.
increase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can reach out to your lender in that regard. There, they can set that up.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
that's a
I'm
lend.
I'm Yeah, the lenders. So I'm currently in a master's program myself, and I am experiencing the same thing with the deferral of my undergraduate loans. I am going to be completing my MBA, and I will be a double alum myself as well. But depending on who your lender is, you may be able to log into whatever portal you have to pay back your loans, and there should be the option of deferral. Even if you do defer your loans, though, you can continue to pay them. It just means that you aren't required to pay on a monthly basis, and you won't get a bill on a monthly basis. But typically, in order for them to defer your loans, they have to get information from your school to verify that you are in fact in a graduate or post-baccalaureate program. So that might be the process. Depending on who your lender is, that might be the process for that, is they have to get the information directly from Elmhurst University.
Yeah,
Okay, so
typically they get that automatically. We submit that to what's called a loan clearinghouse there. So usually that's how your lender gets notice on that. Sometimes they may ask for actual other verification that you can get through registration records there.
all right. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Jake. Carrie, I think we had a question regarding prerequisites that came into the chat, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it was specific to a program here.
Yeah, Shannon, which prerequisites were you hoping to discuss for which program?
You can feel free
There
to
we go.
help Shannon.
Oh, sorry, my phone was just living its life. No, for the industrial organizational psych, I know there's, I think, 3 prerequisite courses.
Mhm.
I did do my undergrad at Elmhurst, but I did not take any of those courses.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if I were to try and take those courses at Elmhurst, is that
Yeah.
possible, even though I'm operating outside of a degree technically?
Yeah, Carrie, you want to go ahead and answer that question? There's multiple
You have
different paths. Yeah.
Yeah, you have several options. So there are 4 prerequisites for the industrial organizational psychology program. One is general psychology, which here at Elmhurst we call that Introduction to Psychological Science. We also require research methods. That's number 2. Number 3 is any kind of elementary statistics. And number 4 is an introduction to industrial organizational psychology. So here at Elmhurst, we specifically have an intro to IO psychology, but some other colleges may call that like organizational psychology, human resources management, There's several classes that cover the content needed that you need from that introduction to industrial organizational psychology. So all 4 of those prerequisites are going to be offered here at Elmhurst every semester. Research methods, statistics, psychology, even intro to IO are usually offered over J terms and summer terms as well, since they are very popular courses. In fact, because a lot of IO, Masters of IO Psychology prospects, because they need Introduction to IO Psychology, we offer that during each summer term in the month of July. Sorry, my Apple Watch went off. So you can take it here, and you can take it as a non-degree seeking student. That you don't have to be enrolled in any specific program to take the class here. The only thing you'd have to do is to contact the Office of Records and Registration and enroll in the class. Your second option, though, is you can take the courses elsewhere. We actually do have a list of equivalencies on our website, and I can put that in the chat here, where it lists pretty much all of our local community colleges. So depending on where you live, you could choose to take these classes at your local community college at any point whenever you're available, possibly for less than tuition, and they would transfer back and count towards the prerequisites needed for the program. So I'm going to pull up that page and put it in the chat. But does that all sort of, I know it's very nuanced, it's a lot of info. What questions do you have about that?
Oh no, I was literally that. I mean, the problem with community colleges is that they look at math completely different. So while I met my math requirement at Elmhurst, they're most likely not going to say, okay, that actually counts to get you into statistics, like most likely. And I don't want to waste my time taking extra math classes to get to statistics. That's a waste of my time and money when I could probably just do it at Elmhurst. I've got the intro to psych. So for me, it's those 3 classes, and I've got little kids. Time is of the essence. I'd rather get to doing the things I'm wanting to do versus like trying to traipse through courses to get myself there. So
yeah, absolutely. Statistics is such a popular class. It's needed by so many different majors here at the university. So the likelihood of it being offered is at an all-time high pretty much every term that we have here. Fall, J term, spring, summer. We offered it in several formats and times. There's some evening course options which work for someone who may already be working full time with a family, all of the things. But you definitely could look to take statistics here at the university. You would just pay the standard undergraduate semester hour rate, would be the cost.
I will,
Go ahead.
and then like many times, if you can, even though we want you here as a student, you know, for those undergrad courses, it may be financially in your better interest to possibly take it at a community college if you can.
Oh yeah, no, I've looked at options. Again, the thing with
Okay, good.
community colleges is their math requirements
For the staff.
operate entirely differently. And so they're going to tell me I need to take 2 math classes to get to statistics versus taking just statistics at Elmhurst.
Sure.
I would rather just take statistics. So I'm just trying to figure out
Yeah.
how do I,
How do you do that?
safely finish these prerequisites. Then the other question I would have is, should I apply before I have the prerequisites, or should I situate those first?
Yeah. You can be admitted without having completed the prerequisites. What's just going to happen is that you're going to receive a conditional admission decision, with the condition being that you complete the prerequisites by the time the program would start. So you
Yeah.
are welcome to go ahead and apply now. Honestly, that would be my recommendation, so
Mhm.
that you can do things like finalize where you're going to take these prerequisites, put all your focus on that, as well as the financial aid piece as well. Filing the
Okay.
FAFSA, securing financial aid, all of those things. So whenever you want to apply for the fall semester, you can go ahead and do so.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
And then Shannon, you would work with Carrie and myself if you decide that if you want to take some of those prereqs here at Elmhurst prior to you starting in the IO in the fall. You would do that as a non-degree undergraduate student. So you could work with me and I'll work with registration and records to get you registered for that particular course that you're looking to take.
Okay, perfect. Perfect to know.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, of course. If you have any follow-up questions, just let me know. And then Bill did put the transferring credit link in the chat for anyone
Okay.
else, for
Yeah.
you and for anyone else that needs info about how those credits transfer.
One thing to note about that is when you click on your college that you may be thinking of to do some of those prereqs, if it's IO, it's all the way at the bottom. So remember that. You'll see it all the way at the bottom there. These are great questions. Any other questions? Well, I don't see anything else coming in here
No.
via chat, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. But if you do have any questions that come up, if you're like me, as soon as I hang up the phone or I'm done with the session, questions always pop into my head. You can reach out to any one of us here on that screen there. And if you didn't take a screenshot of, that's okay. Just email admin@elmhurst.edu and you can get in touch with any one of us there as well too. Or you can call us. So we are happy to help and assist you with anything. And I want to thank you today for your time. Yeah, you are very welcome, Shannon. No problem.
I had one more question. I
Go ahead,
just
Jake.
thought of it.
Oh.
So regarding classes, it still like says asynchronous sort of like where it doesn't actually have a schedule.
Mhm.
How does that work? Does it like are these like classes that we take on our own time, or we like sent videos or stuff like that?
Yeah, so Jake, remind me, your data science program,
The
correct?
data science, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know, is Jim still on the call here?
Yep,
Jim is
I'm here.
on that program. So
Hi,
Jim,
guys. Yep.
typically, for data science, I believe that in some of those courses, they have like a lecture that's live once a week, depending on the
Correct. So
instructor.
typically in that program, Jake, you're going to get the work that you'll need to complete. You'll get it on a Sunday, and then you'll have all week to complete that work till the following Sunday. So you work sort of at your own pace. But like Bill said, every week the professors go on live at night via Zoom, and you're welcome to join that to interact with your classmates and the professors. If you can't make that for whatever reason, be it that you're traveling or for work or for whatever reason, that's also recorded. And so you're able to watch that anytime throughout the week as well. So it's sort of self-paced insofar as you'll get work each week to complete, and then you'll have the entire week to complete it depending upon your schedule.
Nice. Okay.
Yep.
I know
And-
that wasn't completely related to this
No, it's
presentation.
fine.
Oh, no, that's fine. And then one other thing, shortly before classes start, and the spring classes start February 3rd, your professor will reach out to you via email, and they'll unlock Blackboard for you, as you probably know. We use Blackboard, and so you'll be able to access all the course materials, the syllabus, the content, and a lot of that will be explained to you in Blackboard. So that'll open up usually 3 to 5 days prior to February 3rd, prior to the spring class starting.
Got it. So Blackboard is like 3 weeks prior, and if I correct me if I'm wrong, but the ability to pay for the semester, that's this next Friday, right?
Yeah, that's when the bill will go out. I believe it's December 20th there, that they're gonna be billing out. I have to look at my, oh, December 15th, actually, yeah, coming up here. You'll see it out there.
Oh, it's actually sooner.
Yeah. December
and that-
15th, December 20th there, depending on how we get it out, but at the very latest on the 20th.
And do I have to pay every semester or like every quarter because the classes only last like half a semester?
No, so you're right. So your courses run 8 weeks there. So you have one in the first 8 weeks and one in the second 8 weeks, but we bill it out for that full semester there.
Okay, that's another thing I want to know.
Yep.
And where can I find this recording if I need to go back to it?
We're going to be sending out an email a couple days afterwards for the recording.
Okay, thank you so much.
Perfect. Good to talk to you again, Jake. Have a nice, holiday break and everything.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you all. We appreciate it. And I want to wish everyone a great day and some happy holidays as well too. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.